Hello, my viewers. Thank you for coming again to the H2O channel. Today, we are going to be doing mathematics. Okay, don't forget that you are on H2O Spirit channel. In this channel, you are going to be baptized in the spirit of mathematics, physics, and chemistry. If today is your first time for coming across our videos, please do well to subscribe to this channel because we have a lot to give to you. Today we are going to be doing mathematics, not physics or chemistry. This is mathematics by the H2O. And we are going to consider conjugate surds. You know, in our previous video, I taught you how surds are simplified, how you can do addition, multiplication, and simplification of surds. But in today's video, we are going to be looking at conjugate surd and how to simplify a conjugate surd or to evaluate. Now, what is a conjugate surd? I'm going to give you some surd and show you their conjugate. For instance, if I have 1 plus root 3, what is the conjugate of this surd? Let's do it this way, that I have surd here and I have conjugate, okay? Now, if I have a surd like this, 1 plus root 3, the conjugate of this surd is to change the sign. If it is plus, change it to minus. If it is minus, change it to plus. So 1 plus root 3 will turn to 1 minus root 3. Very easy. If I have root 2 plus root 5, it will turn to root 2 minus root 5. And if I have 7 minus root 3, the minus will turn to plus to give you 7 plus root 3. Okay, if I have 5 minus root 8, it will turn to 5 plus root 8. So it is very easy to get the conjugate of a surd. Okay, if this is a surd, here is the conjugate. How do we solve a problem involving a conjugate surd? All you have to do is to rationalize with the conjugate of the denominator of the surd. I'm going to take only 2 examples in this video. If you have not watched our previous videos on surd, please do that for better understanding. We are going to take 2 problems here so that you will know how we can solve a conjugate surd. Okay, I'm going to take example number 1, which is rationalize the expression 1 over root 2 plus root 5. Rationalize the expression 1 over root 2 plus root 5. 1 over root 2 plus root 5. How do we simplify or rationalize it? This is example number 1. First of all, what is the conjugate of this denominator? The conjugate of this denominator means to change the sign from what it is to the opposite sign. And here, what we have here is plus, so we'll turn it to minus. And then we have 1 over root 2 plus root 5. And we are rationalizing with this conjugate. The conjugate is root 2 minus root 5. So we'll do times root 2 minus root 5 all over root 2 minus root 5. Okay, so what do we do now? Very easy. You have to use this 1 to multiply these 2, and when that is done, you have 1 times root 2, 1 times minus root 5 minus root 5 all over. In this place, you can double it. Here is plus and here is minus. There's no difference between these 2 brackets, these 2 guys, except that 1 is plus, 1 is minus. So for every conjugate surd that you come across in your exam, whenever you get to the denominator, use this simple shortcut to do it. Use the first one here to multiply the first one here so that you do this way, and use the second one to multiply the second one. That is all. Okay, it looks like you have a plus b in a bracket a minus b. You can cut this short by doing a times a to give you a square, and b times minus b to give you minus b square. You don't have to expand this bracket. You can do it that way It makes your work faster and easier. Okay, so let's quickly do this. Root 2, root 2. Remember what I told you in our previous video. If you have root 2 times root 2, it will give you root 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So there's nothing wrong to say that root 2 is 2. And then you can say root 3 is also 3. So if it goes that way, it means that root 2 will give us 2. And then you have second to times the second, root 5 times minus root 5. First of all, plus minus will give us minus. Root 5 will give us 5. So you see that in a split second, you have gotten your answer. This will be root 2 minus root 5 all over what? 2 minus 3, 5 will give us minus 3. So that our answer becomes minus 1 over 3, open bracket, root 2 minus root 5. Okay, this is the answer to this question. It is quite very easy. We are going to take another question on this conjugate surd for better understanding. So we are going to do this. The square root of 1 plus x plus root x all over the square root 1 plus x minus root x. This is a very tricky question that has appeared many times in your UME exams. This particular question has appeared many times in your UME exam. May I announce to you that this question is very cheap. It shouldn't confuse you. As long as you know how to get the conjugate of your denominator, then you are done with the answer. What you simply do, remember this is your numerator, while this is our denominator. And here what you have is minus. You change it to plus and use it to multiply the numerator and denominator. So let us go. Very easy. And when you are doing it, because the question looks a little bit complicated, you have to be very, very careful. So what do we have? We have root 1 plus x plus root x all over root 1 plus x minus root x. What are we doing here? We are going to rationalize this with the conjugate of the denominator. Turn this minus to plus and use it to multiply numerator and denominator. So what you have is root 1 plus x plus root x. And what you have here is root 1 plus x plus root x. So we are using the conjugate of this denominator to multiply numerator and denominator. So let's do it carefully. If you use this one to multiply this one, you are likely to get 1 plus x. Remember, similar surd gives you the number. Okay? So this times this will give you 1 plus x. Just like root 2 times root 2 will give you 2. So this times this will give you 1 plus x. Are you getting it? And then this times this now will give you plus root x bracket the square root of 1 plus x. Okay, don't be confused. You are using this one to times this now. So that's why this one is outside multiplying this. Now we'll do this now. This times this, you have the same thing, root x bracket root 1 plus x. And if you continue, you have this times this. Remember that similar surd will give you the number. Okay, all over. Okay, remember I told you these two surds are similar, and because they are similar, you use the first one to multiply the first one, you use the last one or the second one to multiply the second one. So let us do it. You use this to multiply this, you get the same thing, 1 plus x. And when you use to do this, you get the same thing. Don't forget that minus times plus is what? Minus, and root s will give us x. So that we have this 1 plus x plus this x that is there. You can bring it, then you are left with these 2. You can combine these 2 to give you 2 root x bracket the square root of 1 plus x, close bracket. Let me go over it again. This is 1, S plus X, you bring it together, then you have this plus this. If you add these two, they become 2 in number, and that's what you have. All over, remember, S minus X is 0. So what you have here is what? 1. And 1 becomes insignificant when it happens to be the denominator of a fraction. So you are left with 1 plus S plus S is 2x plus 2 square root of x, open bracket, the square root of 1 plus x. Or you can do it this way, 1 plus 2x plus 2, open a bracket, the square root of x, square root of x, bracket 1 plus x. So you can do it in both ways. They are both the same. Or you can do it this way to cover everything and put it this way. You are also very correct. So that you put your answer this way or you put your answer this way. Thank you for watching this video. We have come to the end of today's lesson. If today is your first time for coming across the video, please do well to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you very much. I'll see you in my next video.